Saturday on Lifetime.
You've been fired from your job, and God knows where you were last night. You guys and your God.
When all is lost.
Don't run just for the sake of running. You may just be running for the rest of your life.
Only faith remains.
I had to lose everything and finally find God.
Starring Paula Patton.
I am so scared.
Loretta Devine, Stephen Bishop, and Keith David.
I can't give up.
Don't miss Finding Faith. Premieres Saturday at 8 on Lifetime.
At 1-800-Flowers.com, we know that connections are at the heart of being human. Whether celebrating life's joys or comforting during tough times, 1-800-Flowers helps you express what words can't. For nearly 50 years, millions have trusted 1-800-Flowers to deliver thoughtful gifts that help create lasting bonds. Because it's more than just a gift. It's your way of showing you care. Visit 1-800-Flowers.com/Pandora and connect today. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/Pandora.
You can support this podcast at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and this is Crime Writers On. Crime Writers On is the original true crime review podcast that digs into true crime, pop culture, other podcasts. And on this episode, a local TV anchor was abducted and vanished in 1995. Now, a cold case detective pursues a new lead. We'll talk about the series Her Last Broadcast on Hulu. Joining me to get that done and more is true crime author, TV journalist, and host of These Are Their Stories podcast, my husband and love of my life, Kevin Flynn. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Rebecca.
Also with us is private investigator, certified pet detective, resident cat lady, and author of The Final Curtain, Laura Bricker. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Rebecca.
And finally, our captain of all things cynical, author of the City Trilogy of novels, host of Rip Current, Strange Arrivals, and our Patreon Deep Dive Book Club podcast, Toby Ball. Hi, Toby.
Hey, Rebecca.
So, Kevin?
Yes.
This is Monday's program.
It is.
It's our summer schedule, so we have a new show coming out next Monday.
Yeah.
What's coming out next Monday?
Okay, well, we know that we originally said that we would be talking about a podcast called Girlfriend's Jailhouse Lawyer. We are going to actually not do that. We're pivoting to something else that everybody's really talking about, and we're really excited to have a conversation on.
Yes.
It's season 2 of Shiny Happy People. It's called Teenage Holy War.
I can't wait to talk about it. I cannot wait. So, Kevin?
Yes.
I would like you to thank our fellow co-host for 2 things.
Thank you, fellow co-hosts,
One,
for 2 things.
For going with us to our live event at the True Crime Podcast Festival.
Thank you for doing that last month.
And for being the ones to delay our starting of taping and have it not be me this week.
Because I'm sitting there like, okay, let's start. And then usually it's Rebecca that
is chatting or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Kevin's face gets increasingly grumpy cat. He's like sitting there. His corners of his mouth are going down. He's trying to have patient eyes.
You know our handsome line editor gets paid by the hour, right?
Yeah.
No, she doesn't. She gets paid by the episode.
Oh, by episode? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Sorry, Levy, you're just going to have to sit through this bullshit. Thing's great, but we can't use any of it because it's like way too personal stuff.
Yeah. I always tell people if they're going to do like a first pass edit of a show, always charge by the episode and not by the hour because you get better at it over time. And if you're truly charging by the hour, you will make less money at it when you're better at it. So get a per episode rate and then stick with like that as your billing system. That's my advice. That's my professional podcasting advice. All right, Kevin. Should we talk about the thing we're going to be talking about in this episode?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Leading off.
We have 2 standing file cabinets full of witness statements, tips and reports, newspaper articles, videotapes.
In 1995, morning TV anchor Jodi Huisentruit was abducted from the parking lot outside her Mason City, Iowa apartment. Among those the police questioned was her friend John Vansice, 20 years her senior, who said she'd been at his home watching a videotape of the surprise party he recently threw for her.
I was finding out they named his boat after her. Kind of red flags went up the way he acted. It was so strange. But that doesn't mean that he's the guilty one. I'm not saying, for sure that he is.
After a TV show in 2022 highlighted the mystery, Jodi's best friend said the sketch of a suspect looked like her ex-husband, who'd also been fixated on Jodi. A cold case detective refocused his investigation on Brad Millerbernd, even searching a plot of land where the victim could have been buried.
Terrance, what is that? Talk to me.
They just found a pile of bones.
The 3-part series from ABC News Studios, Her Last Broadcast, The Abduction of Jodi Huisentruit, now on Hulu, follows an investigator as he examines 4 potential suspects, including a serial rapist and a serial killer. Instead of rehashing the past investigation, viewers follow Detective Terrance Prochaska as he picks up the fresh lead, interrogates a new suspect, and sends cadaver dogs to a potential burial site. Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about plot points from Her Last Broadcast. So if you want to remain spoiler-free, go to the estimated time code in our show notes for our thumbs up or thumbs down reviews. Now, Kevin.
Yeah.
There's one suspect that we did not talk about in the opening introduction there, or at least not a suspect.
Well, there were 2, yeah.
But maybe somebody they could have looked at. Your former coworker, Kevin Skarupa, the weatherman.
It's true. In Her Last Broadcast, literally, she's standing with the local weatherman who's the meteorologist here in New Hampshire.
And now he's our meteorologist, and you worked with him, right?
Yeah, I was the only Kevin at the TV station. Then he came along, and then he was the other Kevin, and I was like, oh, and then they got rid of me, and then he was the only Kevin again. So there you go.
Go back and watch the first 5 minutes of the first episode, Laura. You'll see a very familiar face. It's
very young.
Very young.
Very awkward.
Very green.
Yeah, very Mason City, Iowa television.
Yeah. Broadcasting from a shed.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to Daybreak. It's June 26th. I'm Jodi Huisentruit.
And I'm Kevin Skarupa. Good morning, everybody. And
coming up a wild weather weekend.
Yes, a lot of rain and much needed for the farms, from what I've heard.
All right. But Kevin, you want to give this credit for not being somewhat formulaic, right?
Yeah. You know, if one thing I'll praise it for is that instead of being sort of this typical recap of a long, stale mystery, it does do some things where we're following along in sort of real time as these, their developments. It's a little cinema verite, not all the way through, and kind of unexpectedly, because it's both its strength and its weakness is sort of the real-time investigation in this. I mean, if this had been just another one of these things where we're just going to sit down and talk to all the family members and all the witnesses and all the cops and then put together a bunch of B-roll, then that would have been one thing. It certainly tried to go above and beyond that, and that was kind of hit or miss.
So, Toby, this whole series reminded me a little bit of like a season of Someone Knows Something, right? It felt very podcasty to me. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like it's like they took some podcast amongst hundreds that are sort of focusing on single cases and just gave them a Hulu show, because there's nothing about the case that really stands out other than she was like a small town TV celebrity. But there's no twists and turns. There's no reveals. As far as I can tell, you're basically at the same place at the end of the show that you were at the beginning of the show. It's just a lot of kind of running around and talking, but with no actual effect. Like when it was over, I was like, how did this get made into any, like, what was the pitch that got this thing picked up?
The pitch was the cop is cooperating with us and will let us follow him around as he knocks on doors.
There's a detective who's obsessed with a story,
But also this host was the producer. She produced that 2020 episode.
Yeah.
Right? So she had all this stuff. So it's like, oh, here's something that came out of that, and she wanted to get back into it. So I think that's my inference of sort of its reason for being.
She had access,
but also,
right?
It's like, the detective says, or she says, can I come along, or whatever. But there was something new to investigate, and they thought, we can repackage this in a different way.
But it seemed like tales of like failed investigations, right? I mean, or tales of investigations when we didn't let them finish to the completion and just picked it up at this spot and are like, oh, well, I guess we're fucked.
I mean, just like walked around in the woods, like we're looking for some bones that we might find 30 years later out here in the woods.
Oh shit, a bone. Oh wait, it's a cow.
Just kidding. It's a cow.
Under a bicycle.
Who brought a cow out there? I don't know.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is whenever you watch something like this, and, obviously Jodi Huisentruit's disappearance is a very sad story, and I don't want to like belittle that in any way. But whenever you see like a cop who's like, this is the one case that just makes me get up in the morning and keep going and whatever, I always wonder, like, what else are you doing? Like, what do you mean this is the one? Like, what do you mean you're still working it? Like, are you still working it for the benefit of the TV producers when they come? Like, how much time are you actually putting into it? What other work are you doing? It just seems to me like, and it's not the cop's fault, it's like the portrayal of that officer at the center of a case. It's always like the hero who's singularly focused on finding the answer to this one mystery. And that's just not how cops work, despite the fact that I think they want it to appear that way for the show. And that kind of pulls me out of it. But there was something else that pulled you out of it, Laura, right?
Yeah, I really struggled with trying to understand the role of the host/producer in this. Because at first she showed up, I'm like, oh, is this someone they're interviewing? And then I'm like, oh, wait, no, this might be the person who's narrating a little. But then we would see her just kind of sitting there, and it was like she was reading cue cards or something.
June 26, 1995 was Jodi Huisentruit's last broadcast from KIMT in Mason City, Iowa. I don't like that forecast.
Sorry.
Less than 24 hours after it aired, she would vanish.
It just felt very unnatural. And so I'm like, okay, maybe she's not good speaking off the cuff. Maybe they tried to help her by like holding up cards for her to read. But I don't know. Was I the only one that was just like every time that I was just like.
It was just like when we did interviews for investigation discovery episodes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't really get a good introduction to Maria, who is the producer and I guess maybe host or what. It's just not defined. And it ends up being really difficult because first we see this woman who's sort of in a studio, kind of glammed up. Her hairstyle is like covering like some of her face. She's looking off camera as she's talking. So it looks like she's being interviewed and that she's a guest. But you're right. I mean, the line reads are like really bad. And you can tell this is just, she's just doing the thing to like move you from point A to point B. And then later on, we see somebody with her hair pulled back, dressed like a civilian.
Holding a coffee cup.
Coded as an investigative journalist.
Yes.
And I'm like, who's this? And then it took me a while going, wait a minute, she's that? And we don't see her until like the middle of the second episode when they start this interrogation. It's like, oh, she's a real person. And they didn't do her any favors by presenting her that way.
She's continuity is what she is. She's human continuity.
Human continuity.
Yeah. But Kevin, you didn't mind the detective, right?
Oh, no. What's his name? Terrance Prochaska? I don't know about you guys. He didn't come across as like this over-the-top.
No, he was great.
Hero complex guy. He's almost, kind of like one of those guys just like, oh, man, I wish I knew, as opposed to I'm going to like bring the hammer of justice down on all of that.
Not only were just wine glasses found there was other dishes found there. There was multiple plates, items of food. I mean, you just go into her bedroom, there was piles of shoes and boxes and things everywhere. So, I mean, Jodi lived a very go busy life.
And I did appreciate when he said that, like, he thought he knew a couple of years ago for sure who the killer was, and now he just doesn't know, which seems like a real natural human observation. And he just also seems to be open to all avenues. Like, when they do that, we found bones, but they're cow or whatever. He's just like, well, that's not great news for me. But, he's not like trying to say, can you fudge the report, you know?
Although they do that thing like they do in all these, right, Toby, where like, we found a bone, cut to commercial.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
and it's like, it's designed, like, it's like the end of a podcast episode designed to make you be like, oh.
The next American Idol
I was 100% sure it was going to be an animal bone when they said, I was like, I wasn't even a little bit unsure. Toby, what do you make of that and of this particular detective?
I agree with Kevin. I like the detective. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that has cops who are acting in bad faith or sort of have this bravado or like, and he just seemed like, I think if I'm remembering this right, when they go and visit Brad in his town, and he's going to kind of drop in on him like unannounced. And he's like, oh yeah, you never know how these things are going to go. He's walking up and it's just like, that's kind of nice to hear a cop saying that instead of like, oh, I'm going to knock on his door and, whatever. I mean, he's not trying to project an image. He's just being pretty forthright. I mean, I thought he was the best thing about the whole thing, in all honesty. If you just had a show of him like going around not solving crimes, like that would be
in Mason City, Iowa.
That would be fine with me.
Maybe working out. He's a buff boy. Yeah.
Mason City could be the setting for the next True Detective.
Yeah, exactly. He could just go through some existential crisis.
Jacked, right? Like especially jacked.
He was so much though that there was always something bulging on his head. I was like, this guy's got some muscles.
Yeah.
I did think, and the cow bones are the biggest example of this, but that just seems kind of cheap and sort of not something that your better documentaries would do. I mean, I think that's when you're kind of looking for thrills because you don't have a whole lot just in the course of the actual investigation.
Yeah.
I realize this is an unpopular opinion, but these sort of very long cadaver dog scenes that turn up nothing are now becoming kind of a cliche.
Okay, who agrees with that on this podcast?
Yeah, sorry.
Not an unpopular opinion.
But you guys all like to look at the dogs. Oh, the dogs are so cute. It's like, yeah, but
no.
they
both things can be true. They're cute dogs.
Cadaver dogs are not cute. Cadaver dogs usually look very focused. They're not like puppies.
You can be cute and focused.
I don't want to see a cadaver dog scene if it's not going to turn anything up. Just tell us that dogs looked and didn't find anything.
Okay. Nothing was followed up on. Okay. On the dog. So. Nothing followed up on? Okay. Well, that's not the news I wanted to hear, but it's the news better than not knowing.
It goes on and on. I mean, you could just easily be like, yeah, we got cadaver dogs. To turn out there's nothing there, so we moved on, or just don't even go into it.
It's nice we got to see the dog getting a little water midway through because he'd been out there for a long time, Toby. He needed water out of the bottle. This is what
I'm talking about. It's like, cadaver dog porn. Anyway.
Well, it's like they went.
Cadaver dog.
It's like they had the opportunity to do it on camera. So they were going to use as much of that footage as they possibly could. Because that's how the sausage is made.
But that's a shitty sausage, man. That's, I feel like so far, when I brought up questions, it's been like, well, they had this footage. Oh, well, they've got cadaver. It's like if you're just taking random shit that you happen to have and trying to make a Hulu documentary out of it, it's most likely going to fail.
Yeah. So it reminds me, there was that famous in season 1 of Someone Knows Something, the podcast that we came to lovingly call later, Nobody Knows Anything. There was also a very lengthy episode where you just heard the jingle of dog collars over snow, like the entire time.
Oh my God, I forgot that.
You forgot about that?
I forgot that part.
Seared into my brain.
That's the iconic.
I just remember the rant that I gave,
Yes. Yeah. So, Kevin, what do you think of these extended cadaver dog porn scenes?
Don't like it. You can join us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
I guess we're in the business section now.
Yeah, there you get all sorts of interesting stuff, including exclusive podcasts like the Crime Writers on After Show. This week, we're going to talk a little more to Laura Bricker about her latest 5K run. She raised money for Run to Home Base, and we want to hear a little more about your experience and what you raised the money for, and give you an opportunity to say thanks to folks who contributed to your run.
Yeah. And it's not going to be about what happened in the back of a pickup truck at the True Crime Podcast Festival.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I would have running for 5 days if that was the case.
Other exclusive podcasts include Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast, Rebecca's ongoing look at the Karen Reed case and the Readathon, and our advice podcast, Married with Podcast, in which we dole out advice to a listener who wanted to know if it was okay because she fired a coworker who illegally purchased a marmoset monkey.
Oh, God. That question.
Because they worked in a vet's office.
That question.
Oh,
wait, they kidnapped a marmoset?
No, they bought it, but crossed state lines
this is a
and broke.
veterinarian.
Oh, yeah. Haven't you always wanted a monkey?
No.
You can also get Laura Bricker's exclusive Leave It to Bricker podcast.
We just alienated the entire monkey owning community.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Don't rip my face off. That's bananas. If you join us at the Let's Do What We Do level, you get episodes of Crime Writers on early and ad-free. And if you become a deep diver, you also get all that great stuff, but you get to tune in when Toby does the live recording of the deep dive. Toby, the next book is called Some People Need Killing. Now, I want to know, when you say it, do you just say killing, or do you actually say killing? Because I think it sounds better, killing.
Killing? We got to do some killing?
Some people just need killing.
I can't do it in the Filipino accent that is required, because this is about...
that would be bad.
Duterte, that horrendous Filipino president who basically was like, we're just going to kill drug dealers and criminals. And any casualties kind of along the way, well, that's kind of the way it works. And it's a account by this journalist of living during those years in the Philippines. And it's a tough read, but it's very interesting. I'm sure it's going to be a really interesting conversation.
We also have an Amazon storefront where you can see some of our favorite things. Rebecca, can you tell us about this week's Amazon recommendations?
Oh, I have so many, Kevin. I think I'll keep it simple, though.
Okay.
Sheets. Okay, move on.
Sheets?
No, remember, we're going on our vacation, and we're renting a different house this year, and we have to bring sheets for 6 beds. And, of course, they're size beds we don't have. So I just bought these very lovely very comfortable feeling. I haven't slept with them yet, but they're very soft. Really inexpensive sheets on Amazon that I actually super like that I'm excited to roll out in our vacation house.
Hey, that's great.
Thanks. That's my... You asked.
And Toby...
Wait. Did he not ask?
I did ask.
Okay.
Toby, can you tell us, though, what your listener-inspired Toby Ball's Deep Cut recommendations are?
Yeah, I got 2 here. First is the Mad Hippie AHA exfoliating peel. They misspelled THC AHA somehow. Lactic and glycolic acid peel, goji berry, peptides, hyaluronic acid, and niacinamide discoloration correcting serum, AN.
Toby, I have a question for you, earnestly.
Yep.
Do you think I look younger than my age of 51? Just say yes for the purposes of this question.
Yeah, 100%.
That's because I put all that acid shit on my face, in huge quantities.
Is that you?
Vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, retinol, all of it. So whoever bought that, good on you.
All right. Maybe it was you. Who knows?
It wasn't me.
I'll tell you what you didn't buy.
Oh.
But maybe it was me. Who knows? Antifungal pen.
Ooh.
25% undecylenic acid toenail fungus treatment, extra strength nail renewal, tea tree oil clove, bud oil, aloe vera, and vitamin E6.
Not me. My toes look great.
Good for what ails you.
Yeah, I'm going to say that Laura and Toby are great, but you got some funky feet
You do.
issues.
Yeah,
And
I
that
have
could
some
be-
feet issues.
Yeah. You can shop us first when you go to Amazon.com/shop/Crime Writers On. Take a peek, look around, maybe try our stuff, or just go and do the rest of your shopping. We earn commissions on qualified purchases.
All right, Kevin, before we're in the business section, can I just make a plug for something?
Do it.
We have opened up the post in our Facebook group. I do it every year, inviting listeners who are educators to post their wish lists to our Facebook group, and other listeners could maybe help you out and get some stuff for your classroom. I did not even do it in a capitalist way and use our Amazon link for it. I just want you guys to get the stuff you need. So if you join our Facebook group right now as a teacher, or you want to help out a teacher, there is a post there where you can buy some stuff off fellow listeners. Teacher wish lists. They shouldn't be required, but in this day and age, they are required, and we love to help that community out. So, Kevin,
yes,
before we end the business section, I have to ask, do we have any Patreon patron saints of the week this week?
Our Patreon patron saints are Tori O'Neill and Nathan Collins McHugh.
Ooh.
Bless you.
Nathan and Tori. I recognize both of your names from Patreon and other places, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for supporting this podcast. We can't do what we do without folks like you. And if you're interested in joining our Patreon, checking it out, you too could someday be randomly selected by Kevin Flynn to be a Patreon patron saint of the week. Right, Kevin?
Correct.
Should we end the business section?
Let's do that.
Kevin.
Yes.
Who's our next sponsor?
Well, our next sponsor are our new friends from Rula.
What?
So telehealth has made mental health care accessible for millions of people, but finding a suitable therapist, scheduling appointments, and all that expensive out-of-pocket costs can still make it feel like a huge barrier, and thankfully, Rula has you covered.
Tell me more.
Well, okay, are we going to say that, like, everybody feels the world is great? No.
My goodness.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Other people feel the same?
Yeah, so whether it's, the big things or the little things in your life, therapy can really make a big difference for lots of folks, and Rula partners with a network of over 15,000 therapists and psychiatrists, enabling you to find the right therapist for your needs and performances, with co-pays as little as $15 per session.
Wow.
So just simply start by answering a few questions, and you can get started as soon as the next day.
Incredible.
Now, thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. So head over to Rula.com/CWO to get started today. And after you sign up and they ask you where you heard about them, please tell them that our show sent you.
Yes.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
that's Rula, RULA.com/CWO.
CWO.
And take the first steps towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares.
So, Kevin.
Yes, Rebecca.
Who is the next sponsor of this fine program?
Oh, we're brought to you by Quince.
Oh, my favorite.
It's like Queen and Prince put together. It's like make you feel like royalty.
Yes.
I'm talking about fall.
Oh.
You know what that means? What season it is?
Yeah, that's the best season of the year. But there's also a whole part of fall where you're still wearing like summery clothes, but you want them to look kind of fallish. You know how that is?
Yeah.
Quince has all that stuff.
Right. And so now it's time to start thinking about layering, right? So think about like chic cashmere and cotton sweaters and think about them starting at about $40.
Incredible.
Washable silk tops and classic denim pants. Everything, it's like the timeless style. There is fashion and then there is style.
Yes.
And you can get that from Quince, but also the best part is that everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands.
So, Kevin, you know that beautiful tencel dress I wore at dinner the other night?
Yes.
Long dress, little button up, a little sexy, but mostly just cute.
Did that have pockets?
It totally had pockets. I also love the fisherman's cotton sweater. I like sizing down in it, so it's a little bit fitted and short. The cutest sweater in my closet right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can elevate your fall wardrobe essentials with Quince. Go to quince.com/crime for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
Wow.
That's QUINCE.com/crime to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/crime.
This summer, Instacart is bringing back your favorites from 1999 with prices from 1999. That means 90s prices on juice pouches that ought to be respected, 90s prices on boxed mac and cheese, and 90s prices on ham, cheese, and cracker lunches. Enjoy all those throwbacks and more at throwback prices, only through Instacart. $4.72 maximum discount per $10 of eligible items. Limit one offer per order. Expires 9/5 while supplies last. Discount based on CPI comparison.
So, Laura, one thing we do get in this series is a look at how the sausage is made in a local newsroom. And I think that people sometimes assume that your local news operation is fancy in some way or that people are making a lot of money if they work there. Not the case.
No.
But it doesn't mean that you don't become well known in your community. So what did you think about this inside look at this TV station that's basically inside of a shed?
Yeah, it was interesting because, we think about here in New Hampshire, like I think we're a pretty obviously small TV market. We've got like one TV station and I'm thinking, it's a little fancier, Manchester. But here we see this small operation, but it's like anytime you're somebody whose face is out everywhere like that, people think they know you. Some people come up with this narrative of who they think you are because they see you every morning on the news or every evening on the news or whatever. And so hearing about that sort of experience, and they were talking to the other woman who had worked at the station, who had somebody that was kind of like doing some creepy stalker stuff, and kind of hearing the behind the scenes of what it's like when you're like local famous like that. And then segueing into, her disappearing on her way to work. And you're immediately like, okay, is it a crazy viewer? Is it somebody that developed an unhealthy attachment? But then within that newsroom, having to watch how they're covering the disappearance of their colleague, and they're having to go on air and they're talking about what it's like to have to deliver that news and report on that news. That's hard. So I thought that was really interesting to kind of have that window. But then that contrast with her sort of more party private life that comes, because she seems like Miss Wholesome Midwest on the news. And then you're like, seeing that video of her out partying with the old Playboy guy.
She's having a good fun.
She's having a good time, but she was like going out on the boat and doing this and doing that. And I was like,
she wasn't jiggling the bits, though. She was just...
She was doing karaoke and playing golf.
I liked it.
She's basically doing what you do, Laura. Karaoke and golf.
That's
so Kevin, let's talk about some of the suspects. I want to run them through with you guys. John Vansice named his boat after her.
Yeah.
He was basically like a guy that I know who lives in the city near us, the small city near us, who is sort of a guy about town, is at every bar, was like on our trivia team for a while, and is just like ubiquitous. And you feel like if you were single and asked him out, he totally would date you, except that he's constantly in the friend zone. Like that's this guy Vansice, right?
Yeah. I can say this because he's dead, right? Yeah. This is like my number one suspect.
Same.
Here. He was way too obsessed with her, right? You said name the boat. And then plus he jumps in immediately and he's like, oh, you have to clear me because I was the last one to see her alive.
Just like that guy in Wolfboro during the Mother's Day murders.
Yeah, and it's, what were you doing? She has to get up at, 4 a.m. We were up all late watching the video that I had made of the surprise party that I threw for her. And then I called the work looking for her. It's just all that stuff is way too suspicious. He's got like a certainly a bad vibe. So when we hear the detective say, I knew who did it, or I thought I knew who did it, I mean, this is the guy, right? And so
I think that's the guy he thought did it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people probably thought that that's who did it. And, I'm not so sure, and then we've seen like these other three main suspects.
Well, one of them we can just cross off the list and not talk about, Tony Jackson. Like, he didn't do it. He was suspected because he's a rapist.
This is a rapist, right.
But he's in prison. He definitely didn't do it.
Why was that even part of this?
I don't know. I don't think it should have been.
Because he was a black guy, and they're like, oh, could be the black guy.
I know. It was not cool. But yeah, so he didn't do it.
But he was cool. He was questioned at the time, right? So he's on the list there. He had a violent history, but
he didn't do it.
I'm sure they questioned a whole bunch of people that we didn't end up seeing.
Yeah,
but
probably, yeah.
He had a rap song that rhymed whatever the name of that town is with some like decomposing and recomposing or something.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I can't remember what it was.
That's right. It's so silly. So I actually lean toward, and I can say this because he's dead too, Vansice. I have a suspect that he's probably the best suspect because he inserted himself into the story unnecessarily, probably, right? If he didn't,
that was a tell. I think that
right. I think typically what you would do is you'd wait for the police to come to you, or you would just say, hey, just FYI, I might be the last person who saw her, and then that would be it, right? Like, you wouldn't continue to be like, hey, here I am again. That to me is always a little sus.
But you know what we say about demeanor evidence.
That's true.
So you can't
But
go on that.
But he was the last person to see her alive.
Yeah, but I have to say, every time they'd introduce a new suspect, I'm like, I can see how, like, the guy in the white van, he was equally creepy. And then when they were questioning Brad and he's like totally freaked out, drinks a whole bottle of water, I'm like, Brad's got a little bit of a guilty conscience there.
Toby, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are about these suspects.
I wasn't convinced about anybody. I think the thing with serial killer Revac is that, if you're looking at crimes of opportunity, it's not hard to imagine the crime of opportunity maybe being a part of it. It's just like, oh shit, here comes this woman. Again, not super convincing, but it's like, okay, I guess it's within the realm of possibility. Vansice, when he was like sort of being too like, check me out, those videos of him at that party, he's so handsy with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
That she
has to pull her skirt down when he picks her up. Remember? Did you see that?
If I was him and had been behaving that way with a woman who then ended up being killed not too long after, I'd be like, check me out as much as you can, because this video is not going to look good for me at all. And then this guy, Brad, who seems like he's got some stuff going on.
He's the one whose wife is sure that he did it, right?
Yeah, his ex-wife is just so convinced based on, I think, just personal animosity towards him that he did it. She's like, well, he called me on the 10th anniversary and he never called me. It's like, well, he was probably like, oh shit, it's a 10th anniversary. I haven't talked to my ex-wife who, it doesn't seem outside the realm of possibility. He was a weird guy. I didn't quite understand this. Like, he drank an entire bottle of water. Can you believe it? He must be guilty. I was like, I feel like I drink entire bottles of water fairly frequently if I'm thirsty.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Toby,
so I'm guilty of something.
Yeah,
I'm guilty. I'm clearly, it's not a good look for me. So yeah, I mean, it seems to me like Brad and Vansice are the two like real suspects, and there's nothing in there that made me feel like it was like a prosecutable case or whatever.
Not even Brad's job.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that the fact that you are. You have a partner and you're in the cheese processing equipment business.
Yeah.
Is just
not Gouda.
I feel like that might be an extenuating circumstance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, that's kind of my take. And that's one of the sort of frustrating things about this is you feel like it could have been made 2 years after the murder or something, because it doesn't seem like they made any progress whatsoever. It's like the same couple of suspects that you would have been identified at the beginning anyway. And I don't think they're any closer to being able to make a real case against either one of them.
Yeah, I got to tell you, like, I was really kind of thrown for a loop when we get to the part where Maria is interviewing the detective, and it seems to be like he's like literally in the middle of, he just took a break in the middle of this interrogation to come over to talk to her.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? What is going on right now?
It's happening right now.
It's happening right now.
We've just started talking about his relationship with his first wife, Patty, and his encounters with Jodi. He started out with describing them as very limited, and we're going to continue. So that's a wrap.
Right, and I think this is, like I said, the middle of episode 2, right? And so the episode 1, it's pretty standard as far as the format goes. Bunch of talking heads, and this is what I think, and yada, yada. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, this is an action film now? It's like we're it's like we're doing this. Like, I wish that it signposted that there was something active that was going to be happening, other than like a quick clip or something.
You know what the signpost was? That he changed into casual clothing. The guy was wearing a suit and tie the whole time, and suddenly he's in a fleece vest, so you know some shit's about to go down.
And we see like some B-roll, someone walking in. I'm like, is that him? And then, whoa, what the actual fuck, you know? Because I wish that when I said earlier that like it was its strength and its weakness, like that whole idea, like the raw material of like, okay, we could just sit around and set up lights and talk to people for hours and then edit it together, or we can go along in the car and stake out and cadaver dog. Sure, we'll spend an afternoon. That's something above and beyond. But I think what ends up happening is because in the end, we don't solve the case,
right?
Which is what happens in real life. Unfortunately, it ends up being a very unsatisfying narrative ending. So it ends up kind of leaving a bad taste in our mouth. But just the format was like all of a sudden this shift.
Yeah.
It's like, what the actual fuck are we doing now?
Yeah, it was a little weird. It was a little weird that we were like, oh, wait, this is happening now?
Yeah. It was weird because, he came out twice, in the middle, and I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. And then I realized that Brad had drank an entire bottle of water, so he probably had to go to the bathroom. So he just took little breaks, and he came in and checked in.
Yeah.
Laura's never going to live that down.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
I still think it was interesting because you're watching his body language in that interview. I'm like, okay, this guy's like freaking the fuck out that he's being questioned right now. But
I think a lot of people are freaked out when they're questioned by the police.
I guess so. Yeah.
Did they put it like a full screen card up or something to indicate like this is happening now?
I don't think
like,
they
I think
did.
All of a sudden we're just kind of like, I think if they'd done that, all of a sudden reoriented everybody.
What you need is the producers
explicitly say,
like the producers went along as the trooper was about to interview Brad for the first time. Even though, by the way, they got this tip 8 years ago, we're interviewing him now.
Well, I mean, that was part
confusing.
of it. They fucked up, and now he's like, somebody here should have done this.
Right.
Now I'm doing it.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah. So, Laura, this ultimately really is about what cops didn't do at the time, right?
Right. Well, I think that's the question here is what happened 30 years ago that there were so little progress on this case. And I know there's cases that are hard and there's cases where there's not a lot happening at the time and it's hard to, follow the threads that are going to give you something that's going to lead you to a conclusion. But I think we focused a lot on like what they're doing now, which again didn't really get us anywhere. So I was curious about like, well, what happened then that didn't happen? It just feels like for something so high profile to not have any real momentum. It just doesn't feel like anything's going anywhere. And even now, as I was watching it, I was like, okay, this has got to be in the third episode. We're going to have something happen and a conclusion because this is 30 years old and unsolved. And I'm like, just kidding.
Yeah.
We're not. It's over now.
Toby, final question for you. As a big theory in the series that gets brought up again and again, that it's either a stalker or a crazed fan. Do you think that that's a thing without a difference?
A distinction
without a difference?
Difference without a distinction.
I don't know. I think you could go down either route.
Or somebody that knew her and was obsessed with her.
You mean a stalker? Slash crazed fan?
It was like a strange thing. I was like, hold on a second. Stalkers and crazed fans seem like the Venn diagram is almost like one circle.
Yeah.
Yep.
This summer, Instacart is bringing back your favorites from 1999 with prices from 1999. That means 90s prices on juice pouches that ought to be respected, 90s prices on boxed mac and cheese, and 90s prices on ham, cheese, and cracker lunches. Enjoy all those throwbacks and more at throwback prices, only through Instacart. $4.72 maximum discount per $10 of eligible items. Limit one offer per order. Expires 9/5 while supplies last. Discount based on CPI comparison.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality pros at Angie.com.
All right, let's do what we do. Should we check out Her Last Broadcast on Hulu? Laura Bricker, thumbs up or thumbs down for this documentary series?
So I'm going to go thumb sideways on this. I'm always curious about a cold case. I thought there was some good material here. I liked that we had a central figure in this detective that was really involved in the case to follow along. It felt authentic following him along. I'm tempted to go mild thumbs down, but there was enough of like, okay, this is interesting recap of this case and kind of trying to propel forward some new leads of things that are happening. The part that I really struggled with is I think that when they were putting this together, there really wasn't a clear idea of how the producer was going to be portrayed in this. And I'm like, they should have either had her be a character in this and talk about how she had a relationship with the detective on a professional level where they're working together and they're communicating about this case, and have her featured as a personality instead of like this weird voiceover thing that happened that for me just didn't make a lot of sense. And so that's where I struggled with this. But overall, I was like, okay, I haven't heard about this case. 3 episodes, kind of interesting. Did a good job showing locations where things happened, but it was frustrating for me at the end, without giving too many spoilers, where it landed from where it began. I was hoping for a little bit more. I guess we'll just put it that way.
Toby Ball, thumbs up or thumbs down for Her Last Broadcast on Hulu?
Yeah, I'm a thumbs down. You know, in a lot of ways, just kind of felt like a podcast, but with pictures too, sometimes moving pictures. So I think the biggest positive for me is that the police officer who is sort of the focus of the show actually comes across as like the kind of guy you'd want to be a cop in your town. Seems very sincere and dedicated, and spending time with him as he sort of works this case, I thought was the strongest part of it. That being said, when it was over, I was like, how did this thing get funded? Or, you know, why did they pick it up? I couldn't quite figure out what was going on with it. It's not that, you know, I think the people who were involved in it were dedicated and sort of believed in what they were doing and all this stuff, and that's fine. But the resulting product, I just kind of felt was pretty underwhelming. So anyway, I feel like the people who made this had the best of intentions, but for me, it just wasn't that interesting in the end. So I'm a thumbs down.
Kevin Flynn.
Yeah, I'm also a thumb sideways on this. It's pretty mid. I'll give ABC News Studios credit for trying to stand apart with this one, and also the Fox Hollow murders, where they are trying not just to find people who could talk about what happened in the past, but ways to advance the story or advance the investigation. Ultimately, while it's tantalizing, neither of those shows really provided satisfying investigative answers. That's just reality. That's what happens when you set off on a documentary of some kind, certainly looking into a very difficult case. What are you actually going to, turn up? The difference for me was, though, like the Fox Hollow murders, they had a central character here who was very fascinating. That saved the show for me. In this case, we really don't have a parallel plot line that's intriguing. We have some people who could have been characters, but weren't really used that way. And so we don't get a narrative to go along with the investigation. But, again, it's maybe a big swing. But it was sort of formatted wrongly for me. It could have been something a lot better, but I didn't hate it, so I'm sideways.
This is a thumbs down for me. This is an Unsolved Mysteries episode, not a 3-part series. This is literally like, it could have been so much shorter. There was way too much she lit up a room stuff. It could have been so interesting. I mean, there are interesting things about it. The production of local news is super interesting. The fact that there are some viable suspects is interesting. This great central character and the cop. But the way it's put together, it's a straight up Unsolved Mysteries episode. It's not mid. It's less than mediocre. So it's a thumbs down for me for Her Last Broadcast. Now it's time for my favorite part of the podcast, a little something I like to call the Crime of the Week. You'll never guess who got stuck in a mousetrap. Police in Tallahassee handcuffed and arrested a worker at Chuck E. Cheese and perp walked him through the restaurant while still in full Chuck E. Cheese costume. Authorities say they questioned Jermel Jones at work about a credit card stolen from a customer. The police briefly stepped outside to confer, and when they returned, they discovered Jones dressed in the Chuck E. Cheese outfit, complete with the giant costume mouse head, entertaining some small children. Instead of unmasking him Scooby-Doo style in front of the kids, the cops did the next best thing. They cuffed the mouse, told him not to resist, then marched him out of the restaurant, all while calling him Chuck E. The arrest of the mascot freaked the hell out of the kids who were in the middle of a birthday party, and pictures of a guy being marched out in a full Chuck E. Cheese costume went viral. For those unfamiliar with pizza's second most famous rodent, the eponymous Chuck E. Cheese is not only the restaurant and arcade's mascot, he's also the leader of its animatronic band, where mechanical Chuck E., Helen Henny, and Jasper T. Jowls jam out on kid-friendly versions of hit songs. The chain reversed course last year after announcing they were going to do away with the glitch-prone attraction, keeping Chuck E. in place. So, is the mouse headed for the big house? Jones was released after posting a bail of $1,000, which is a lot of dough. So, panel, who knew it was such a hot stove of crime? Why will the police be visiting Chuck E. Cheese again? What do you think, Laura Bricker?
Chuck E. Cheese is just a hotbed for police activity. Seriously, when my son was little and he had a mascot phobia, we used to have to sit in the parking lot of Chuck E. Cheese as part of like this therapy. And the people you saw going in and out on a regular basis, it could be anything. But I always had questions about those animatronics and those little eyes. Like, what were they actually, like, were they secretly filming us? Is there somebody in there? Like, I just feel
Which
like
parents are ordering pictures of beer?
Yeah, exactly. I just never trusted those animatronics. So I think next, something's going on with them.
Toby Ball, why do you think the police will be visiting Chuck E. Cheese again?
My experience with Chuck E. Cheese has been that it is just one big bioweapon, and that you walk in, and then when you walk out, you get horribly, horribly sick. But I think Chuck E. himself is probably involved in some token counterfeiting.
All right. What do you think, Kevin?
They're going back for skee ball tickets.
Oh.
Just 100 more and then get that stuffed animal.
You aren't going to say that the shitty pizza is criminal? Because it is at Chuck E. Cheese. It really, really is.
I'm actually one of the first columns I wrote for the college newspaper was about my visit to Chuck E. Cheese, right? I think I called it like the Playboy Mansion for children.
Oh my God.
Did you
go to a Catholic college?
Yeah, it's just like...
That's sort of how you called Patreon OnlyFans, except we keep our clothes on.
Yeah, it's kind of... It's true. It's true.
All right. That's going to do it for us. But before we go, Laura Bricker, do we have a cat of the week this week?
Cat of the week comes to us from Tony Flanagan.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Tony welcomed a new dog, Cecilia Fiona Saban Sugarbutt, a.k.a. Cece the Troublemaker, to their home in early July. She was found on the side of the road in Bakersfield in April with two siblings. She weighed just 3.78 pounds. As a border collie, she fits right in with our other dogs. Everyone has adjusted to the new addition. Grace and Riley get along beautifully with her. She's a smart, sassy, bouncy, and cuddly companion. On walks, Cece greets everyone, tail wagging, seeking pets and cuddles. If someone passes by without greeting her, she gives them a forlorn look. While initially shy with unknown dogs, she warmed up quickly. Since adopting her, they've learned one of her siblings has also found a home, and we're sure the third one will follow. They are smitten with their third and probably final Border Collie family member at Tony's house. Very cute puppy.
Tony, I really appreciate you sending in your dog to be cat of the week, and I appreciate all your shout outs on social media as well. You are the best and an OG Crime Writers listener. All right, so Laura Bricker, if folks want to reach out to you and submit any kind of animal, doesn't have to be a cat, obviously, to be cat of the week, how can they find you online?
You can find me at Laura Bricker on Blue Sky and Instagram.
What about you, Toby Ball? How can you be found?
At Toby Ball NH on Blue Sky and at Toby Ball 603 on Instagram, where I'm trying to post more.
Have you thought about changing your handle to make it consistent?
I did, but I think I used at Toby Ball NH and then I forgot the password, so I had to do a new one.
Oh, is that why you have two accounts?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no way to recover that password.
No, but you can delete...
There may be, but it probably took longer than the 30 seconds that I put into it.
Yeah. What about you, Kevin? How can you be found?
Yeah, I'm everywhere. At Kevin P. Flynn.
I'm everywhere at...
P is for pizza.
No, it's not. I'm everywhere at Reb Lavoie. The show is everywhere at Crime Writers On. But mostly I encourage you to join our incredible Facebook group right now. You can buy something for a teacher off of their wish list. If you go to our group, there's a link there to do it. You should also follow us on TikTok, by the way. You can see little mini versions of our reviews and all kinds of other videos up there. Get episodes early and ad-free and everything else we make behind the scenes at patreon.com/crime Angie.com/Partners in Crime Media. Our theme song was composed and performed by Tyler Gibbons, and our editor is the truly terrific Livy Burdett.
Getting paid not by the hour.
The EP of this show is Kevin. This show was recorded in
Getting
Studio
paid
C,
not by the hour.
the closet in our New Hampshire basement, where we also videotape our adult birthday parties all the time. On behalf of all the crime writers, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you later. Sounds like there's somebody upstairs in our house, so Kevin's just going to go check real quick. Now it's time for my favorite part of the podcast, when we're getting robbed.
They figured out our recording schedule.
Briscoe's once again being a wonderful guard dog. With somebody being potentially upstairs, he's just sleeping on the floor in the studio.
Partners in Crime Media.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality pros at Angie.com.